Kind of looks like we're live. Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. Hey, Shalom, Makiyam, and Akwa. It's just Bayan back again, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to bring forth, some comforting scriptures, man, efforts to, pretty much build up the confidence of the church, of myself, and ultimately, hold on to that hope. The idea of us, coming into a time where, as you can see the title, peace, so long as the moon endureth. When we come into the kingdom, hey, we're gonna have nothing to worry about. We're gonna be in a position of rest finally. We go through our daily lives, having to have to deal with, these heathen in the form of Esau, bullying you at work, or dealing with these reprobate women, 2/3 Jake, just a whole onslaught of shit we got to go through. Those of us that are rooted and grounded in this faith, man, it's tough. It's not an easy walk, and we're vexed, like righteous Lot, due to the filthy conversation. Here it is. It's what is it? It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month, man. All right, this society celebrates a month oriented around sexual immorality. How crazy is that? Okay, but this is the world that we live in. This is the world of Esau. Okay, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. But this world's coming to an end. Okay, and the world of Jacob is going to come into fruition where dwelleth righteousness, man. Okay, and everything is going to be in a better condition. Everything's going to be revamped. Righteousness is going to bring the earth back to the status of the Garden of Eden, the garden east of Eden, man. Paradise. You see, being that righteousness is going to be established, man. And ultimately, prior to that, we're going to be vindicated, Akiyam and Akwaf. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to vindicate us, man. Okay? Ultimately, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Now, let me stop right here. Let me go to Psalms, the 72nd chapter, where the spirit, guided me to the title. I'm going to stop in verse 1, then I'm going to jump down. Right? The book of Psalms, chapter 72, and verse 1, and it reads, a psalm of Solomon. Now, we know Solomon was Yahweh Shai. Okay? And there's various pressure points we can hone in on proving that. You see? But needless to say, let's continue on. Matter of fact, this is going to actually hone in on it, this chapter alone, based off what we're going to tap into. But needless to say, the book of Psalms, chapter 72 and verse 1, and it reads, a psalm of Solomon. Give the king thy judgments, O power, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. You see? So here it is. Solomon is asking for the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? Now, he didn't ask for riches. He didn't ask for strength. And matter of fact, when you read, I believe it's in Chronicles, if I'm not mistaken, First Chronicles, this first chapter, or is it Second Chronicles? That's why the Lord granted him access, man, to the wisdom that he received, and ultimately the riches. And matter of fact, let me just go get that real quick. I think that's Second Chronicles 1. Or is it? Let me see something real quick. If it's not Second Chronicles, the first chapter, it's First Chronicles, the first chapter. Let me see. There it is. It's Second Chronicles, the first chapter. Now I'm going to go right to the point. Right here. Let me start at verse 8, as a matter of fact. The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 1 and verse 8. And Solomon said unto Power, Thou hast showed me great mercy. Salakia. Let me read that again. 2 Chronicles 1 and 8. And Solomon said unto Power, Thou hast showed great mercy unto David, my father, and has made me to reign in his stead. Now, O Lord Yahweh, Power, let thy promise unto David, my father, be established. Now remember, David was a man after Yahweh's own heart, man. Okay, so David was very precious in the sight of Yahweh. All right? As a matter of fact, those sure mercies of David is what we're hoping to be in a lot of. Okay, because as we know, David was given great mercy, man. David should have been put down due to his offenses. You see? So ultimately, Solomon is asking Yahweh, okay, let thy promise unto my father be established, man. Right? For thou hast made me king over a people like the dust of the earth in multitude, man. Because, hey, Jake, we're everywhere, man. Okay? We're everywhere. All right? There's Israelites that look like the heathen, bro. You know? And this is something a lot of men, all right, that claim to be stewards of the Lord can't even grasp. You know? There's a lot of so-called heathen, okay, individuals that may look like heathen that are actually speckled birds. They're Israelites, man. And you wouldn't know it. You see? The angels know, though. The angels are going to do the sifting at the end of this thing. But that's why we're to just, you know, not judge according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Just bring it out. Sow the seed and let the Lord do the rest. You know? Let's go. Continuing on. Give me now wisdom. This is what Solomon asked the Lord. Give me now wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people, for whom can judge this thy people that is so great. Okay? Now we gotta make this make sense right here. All right? So this is in Chronicles, man. All right, we went back in time. We're back in time. Nothing has changed since then. Okay? This great people is here today. And because Yahweh Shai came, all right, and was crucified and then resurrected, and that doesn't mean you heathen have any right to our inheritance. You see, you got the whole New Testament twisted. All right, you got the Gentiles, you got the neither Jew nor Greek, you got that all twisted. All right, you got that all twisted. None of that has anything to do with y'all. But let's continue on. And Power said to Solomon, because this was in thine heart, right, his mind, his love, right, he had an upright mind. Check this out. And thou hast not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of thine enemies, neither yet has asked long life, but has asked wisdom and knowledge for thyself, that thou mayest judge my people, over whom I have made thee king. Wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee, man. Okay, the Lord said, wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee. And what's so heavy about wisdom is that this wisdom that we've tapped into, because it's of the fourth dimension, okay, it's aligned us, it's allied us, okay, with immortality, man. And the scriptures tap in. Matter of fact, that's in I think that's in Wisdom of Solomon. Let me go get that real quick. I think that's Wisdom of Solomon in the 8th chapter. Let me finish this up right here. And wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had that have been before thee, neither shall there any after thee have the like. Showing you that Solomon was Yahushai. Because isn't Yahushai the King of Kings and the Lords of Lords? Okay? We gotta make it make sense. But let me go get this precept that came to mind real quick. And then we're going to jump back to Psalms, the 72nd chapter. I want to say that's Wisdom of Solomon. I think I can word it if I can't find it. I'll just put allied with wisdom. Let me see here. But if I'm not mistaken, phone's verifying. The phone's verifying if I'm human or not. Hey, man. Esau's taking it there with his AI technology. But anyways, Wisdom of Solomon. Let me check this out real quick. Chapter 8. Khan, in verse 17. I'm going to start up though. I'm going to start at verse 16. It reads, after I am come into mine house, I will repose myself with her. And now her is talking to wisdom. For her conversation have no bitterness, right? Because our conversation's in heaven, right? Right? And because this conversation, this wisdom is of the fourth dimension. It's not from this realm. Look, and to live with her has no sorrow, but mirth and joy, right? All right, we found comfort in our affliction through this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right, we've been opened up into the understanding of who we are, why we're here, and where we're going. This is information that's been a secret for ages, man. And now we've been opened up to these secrets, man. This is comforting. Look, now when I considered these things in myself and pondered them in my heart, right? How that to be allied unto wisdom is immortality, man. You see, to be allied with wisdom is immortality, bro. All right, and Solomon understood that. All right, this is why that's what he asked, right? And hey, guess what? That was pleasing to Yahweh. And his, guess what? It was granted. That wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and ultimately through that, he received the riches, man. Right? Let's go back to Psalm 72. Right? And this is the arena that we're operating in. All right? We're operating in the arena of wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the Lord. All right? Which again is beyond this dimension. You see? Let's jump on down. Psalm 72. I'm going to jump down to verse 6. Matter of fact, I'm going to read verse 1 again, then jump down. A Psalm of Solomon. Give the king thy judgments, O power, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. Okay? Jumping down to verse 6. He shall come down like rain upon the mown grass, as showers that water the earth. Okay? Now, Yahweh Shai is the what? Isn't he the word? All right? Doesn't the Lord, is that what? Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter? Didn't it say the word? Matter of fact, let me go get it. Deuteronomy 32. And verse 2. I'm going to start at verse 1 though. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb. Excuse me. And as the showers upon the grass, bro. Okay, the grass being who? Jake, us, the elect, Lord, the hopeful elect. You see, this doctrine has rested upon the hopeful elect, man. Now we're what? We're sprouting. We're growing. Or we're being watered. As a matter of fact, when you go into the word Zion in Hebrew, it's Tazayuan. Okay, which goes into a monument, a memorial, or a parched place. Okay, what do you do with a parched place? You water it. You water that parched ground. Okay, and ultimately what? It sprouts. Right? And that's what this word is like it unto. This word, which is Yahweh Shai. That's the point. It's going all the way back around to Yahweh Shai. The book of John. The book of St. John. Yahweh Shai is the word. You see? He's that doctrine. Okay? Now the Lord Yahweh Shai said, his doctrine is not his, but him that sent me. See? The Yahweh sent Yahweh Shai. Okay? He's the word. He sent the word through Yahweh Shai, man. All right? Now let's jump back. Right? Psalm 72 and verse 6 again. He shall come down like rain. Look at, he shall come down like rain. Okay, this is allegorical, man. You got to be tapped in. Look, he shall come down like rain upon the mown grass, as showers that water the earth, man. In his days shall the righteous flourish. Okay? In his days, in the Lord Yahweh's day, Yahweh Shai's days. Now, mind you, this is a Psalm of Solomon, man. This is showing you that Solomon is Yahweh Shai, man. All right? In his days shall the righteous flourish. And the righteous being who? The whole nation. All right? Starting with the elect. Because when you go to the book, to prove that, right? When you go to the book of Psalms, the 61st chapter, which it gives, this Psalm 61 gives you a glance, right, into the, is it 61? Salakia is 60, forgive me. I'm tripping. Isaiah. Isaiah 60. Let me jump on down. When you read Isaiah 60, it gives you a glance of how the kingdom's going to be operating, bro. And how things are going to be, let me see here. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 21. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. You see? So all of Israel is going to be righteous. All of Israel is supposed to be righteous. You know, but in efforts to fulfill biblical prophecy, there's a degenerate plant, okay, that has been rooted in Israel, which is the 2/3. You see, but ultimately, all of Israel is going to be righteous under that second covenant that we're going to come into upon the downfall of Esau and in the erecting of the nation of Israel upon the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. You see that? So when we go back to Psalms, the 72nd chapter, let's continue down. The phone's confirming if I'm human again. Madness. Right? Crazy. Anyways, back in Psalm 72, man. In verse 7, in his days shall the righteous flourish, an abundance of peace so long as the moon endureth, man. Under Solomon, we only had a 40 years of peace, which came through the complete domination of his father David upon these heathen, setting up garrisons and putting them into the position of servitude. You see, that 40 years of peace was the only time we had to rule. All right, and that was only the known world at the time, which is over there in the east. See, it's telling us here that what? When we read down, he shall have dominion also from sea to sea, and from the river unto the ends of the earth. Okay, the ends of the earth. All right, California is the very end of the earth. Okay, which is where? Here in Babylon the Great, America. Okay, the west. This is the western part of the hemisphere. This is the very ends of the earth. Okay, this is telling us that in his days, all right, not only is righteousness going to flourish, but he shall have dominion also from sea to sea, from sea to sea. Okay, from the Pacific, Atlantic, the Mediterranean, all right, all of it. Okay, look, and from the river unto the ends of the earth. You see? Because ultimately, this earth belongs to us. Bear with me. This is our earth. All right? For those of you that don't believe me, let's go to 2nd Esdras real quick. 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter. This earth belongs to us, man. And this is why we're so offended based off of how Esau's handling it. You know, how he's ruling. You know, how he's managing it. It's an offense. You know, we're completely offended, man. You know, it's vexing seeing how this man's operating, seeing these plastic islands off of the West Coast. You know, seeing space junk. You know, seeing animals beach themselves, man. Aquatic life beaching themselves, man. You know, seeing this dude just hunt for game, hunt for sport. You know, seeing various creatures becoming going extinct under his watch. Look it up. Under Esau's watch. Man, I can't tell you how many species of animals have gone extinct. I did a lesson on it a couple of years ago, though. Lord willing, I'll do another one. I know the numbers went up. All right, it's because of how he's ruling. It's because of his industrial revolutions or what have you. This man's a fucking demon. All right, he doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn. But that's his job. He's wired to rule like that. You see? But ultimately, there's a penalty for it. Because as it tells us in Revelations, what's that, 11 and 18, the Lord's going to destroy those that destroy the earth. All right, so Esau's in line for that judgment. 2nd Ezra 6. You see, but at the end of the day, when we come into power, hey, we're going to make this thing right. We're going to make this thing right. It's going to take 1,000 years, all right, which is only one day, you know, to the Lord. And being immortal, you know, we're going to be immortal. 1,000 years is going to be nothing. It's going to be one day to us. We're going to be operating under a different space of time. You know? You can only imagine how that feels. You can only imagine what that feels like. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 53, and it reads, upon the 6th day, thou gavest commandment unto the earth. Now that 6th day is talking to the 6,000th year. All right, when you go into the Genesis, go into the creation story or what have you. All right, it took 6,000 years to bring everything forth through the Elohim and Yahushai via the blueprint from Yahweh. On the 7,000th year, there was rest. You see? Let's go. Upon the 6th day, thou givest commandment unto the earth that before thee it shall bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these, Adam also, which Adam was also who? Adam's Yahushai. For those of you that don't know, right? Whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures. Of him come we all, okay? And the people also whom thou hast chosen. It says, look, it says, of him come we all, right? All come from Adam. How? Noah and his 3 sons. That's how. Okay? But during the time of Adam, there were through Adam and his son Seth, all right, and Enos, all right, that's the chosen seed that you can track. Okay, there were other trees in the garden at that time, but there was always a chosen lineage. Okay, how everyone comes of Adam is through Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. You see that? And through those sons, obviously the chosen is going to come out of who? Shem. Okay, which ultimately, when you go through that, you're going to go through our Faxad, Eber. As you keep tracking it, it's going to track you all the way to Terah, right, which is Abraham's father, right, to the 12, man. Isn't Abraham the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel via Abraham through his son Isaac? Right. Let's go. So let's read this again. Of him come we all, right? Of Adam come we all, and the people also thou hast chosen. Okay, see, we can't disregard that. You know, you have individuals of the likes of Vocab Malone that finds a way to disregard that. You can't disregard the idea of there being a chosen since the beginning of time. Okay, since the beginning of time. Nothing has changed from then to now. That's why when you read Revelations, the 21st chapter, there's 12 gates. Why? Come on, man. Anyways, let's continue on. Right? All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Okay, this world was made for our sakes. This world was supposed to be being ruled by immortals. Okay? Not by mortals. This earth was supposed to be being ruled by immortals. Think about it. The sun is immortal. The moon is immortal. The earth is immortal. Doesn't scripture say the earth abideth forever, man? Why? Because it's a creation of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, man. You see? So these various heathens that were unstable in their rulerships and were unable to, truly reap the benefits of the earth is because they can't. They're not cohesive with the energy. They're not mental rule. They're not, they're not built for the mission. This earth is supposed to be being ruled by a mortal. It's gonna be, okay? It's gonna be, and that's when paradise will be reestablished. Notice how things went haywire after Adam and Eve went off, But anyways, let's continue on. As for the other people, come on, listen. As for the other people, who? The heathen, which also come of Adam. Thou hast said that they are nothing, but like unto spittle, man. Okay? And all Ezra is doing is echoing what's all throughout the scriptures. As a matter of fact, Isaiah, listen to this. When you go to the book of Isaiah, you Wakiyam know where I'm going. The book of Isaiah, chapter 40. The book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 17, it reads, all nations before him, before who? Before Yahweh, are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. Okay? This is the reality. Okay? Moab is the Lord's washpot, and Edom is his footstool. Okay? Esau down to the rest of these heathen. Guess what? They're less than nothing. Now one will ask, why are they ruling? If they're less than nothing, why are they usurping authority over us? You know, why are they well established? You know, their foundation is strong. It's because Yahweh is bound by his word. Okay? And ultimately, we went off via the first covenant. Okay? And pursuing the Deuteronomy 28. All right? In verses, when you read verse 15, it tells you what would happen if we broke, if we didn't listen. And you read 16 through 68, there you have it. You see? But on the contrary, when you read verse 1, that's what's going to be established upon us coming into the second covenant. When you read Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1, which Lord willing, I might even grab that. Right? Let's read this again. Isaiah 40 and 17, because it sounds so good. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity, man. So yeah, there's a such thing as somebody being better than somebody else. We're better than the heathen. It's just true. It's just the reality, man. But in Esau's world, everybody's created equal. That's not true. Okay? And Esau knows that's not true. You see? And through his science, through his pseudoscience, right? And through his pseudoscience and philanthropy, you know, this nigga has even proved that in his own being that he doesn't believe that. Okay? Anyways, let's go back. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. And verse 56 again. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel, bro. This is how valuable they are to the Lord. All right? They're not. Okay? They're just NPCs? Okay? That's all they are. All right? Non-playable characters. Right? Just pretty much extras in the movie. Let's continue on. And now, O Lord, behold these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us, man. Showing you that was talking to the heathen. Okay? They have power over us, man. They're lording over us, man. Why? Again, because we're under the curses, bro. And ultimately, that blessing that Isaac gave Esau in Genesis, the 27th chapter, had to be fulfilled. You see? Esau had to get global dominion. He had to get the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. Right? He had to commit all the atrocities that he committed. Right? Pursue his brother with the sword. Right? Which is Jacob, a so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Never stop, have no chill. Just so the Lord can vindicate us for this nigga's actions, bro. And the rest of you heathen as well that took part in it. You took part in it too. You Arabs ain't innocent either. Okay, you got the sub-Saharan slave trade. All you heathen were involved in. Okay, and various other captivities we suffered through. All right, you got the book of Judges. Go read that. All right, you Philistines handling us rough, Moab, all y'all, man. Okay? All you got to pay for what you've done since the days of old. That judgment still has to come. You see? And that's why it's going to be justified you going into captivity in the eon to come. You're going to pay for all those things. Oh, it wasn't me. I wasn't even alive at that time. Yeah, you were. Okay? There's a such thing as reincarnation. The Bible stands on that. After death shall the judgment come, and we shall live again. All right? It's written. Reincarnation is real. Okay? We've all been here before. We're all ancient spirits. You know? That's why you experience something called deja vu. Everybody experiences that. Beloved brother Isaiah just went live. See if I can catch that, brother. Let's continue on here. Let's continue reading down. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn. Right? And right. All right. Because understand there's a priesthood in the heavens. There's been a priesthood in the heavens, man. Who do you think that 144 is? The Elohim. All right. Those are all priests. Okay. Which help bring forth everything you see around you with Yahweh Shai through the blueprint of Yahweh. You see? We're the firstborn through the spirit. Even though Esau came out first, red all over, like a hairy garment, in our reality, Jacob is the firstborn. And as a matter of fact, to prove that, let me get a quick precept. It just came to mind. The book of Job, chapter 30, and verse 1. And it reads, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. And we know this is talking to evil E. Okay? This is because pursuant to Hebrews 12 and 16, there's no one more profane, which goes into sexually immoral and outside of the temple, than Esau. Straight up, point blank, period. The Lord puts a name on it. And if you take a glance at, hey, you can look it up on your phone, as a matter of fact, as far as bestiality and messing with dogs and stuff like that, you're gonna see Edomite men and Edomite women are heavy in that behavior. All right, you can look it up. Look it up. You're gonna see various information regarding this behavior from these Edomites, bro. Okay, because this is that reprobate, wicked, perverse spirit. All right, that they've been wired into. This is how they're wired. You see, they like strange flesh. They like to drink blood. All right, they like to defile anything that's innocent. They're just crazy. But anyways, going back to the book of 2nd Esdras. Oh, lost my spot. I want to read down to the bottom on that, because Esdras goes in, and we in the same spirit too, man, as our beloved forefather, man. And we want out. We're done. We've outgrown this captivity, bro. You know? After you're exposed to the type of information we've been exposed to through the Holy Spirit, forget it. Nothing is satisfying. I mean, we do our thing. We have our little pastime moments and maybe some hobbies you get into. You might like to do this or do that, work out, whatever it may be. You know, bike or whatever. Draw, I don't know. You know, but at the end of the day, it's not enough. Like we want out. We want to rule, bro. And we want our minds, man, listen, man. We're on a different frequency. You know? We're on a different frequency. We got to dumb ourselves down as we navigate through Babylon. You know? Because these people are on no level at all. The Wadi Yahweh Bashmel Shah for blessing us with the understanding. You know? But we do got to walk around this place. We got to dumb ourselves down. We got to walk with wisdom. You know? We gotta exercise wisdom, like on a whole nother level, because this is a dangerous place to fall, as we know. All right, we're in this place is coined as the battlement of the city, man. You know, this is literally, man, death is at every corner. You know, whether you're dealing with cops or a Babylonian, man. You know, you gotta use wisdom. Wisdom shall what's the scripture say? Understanding shall keep thee, wisdom shall preserve thee, and understanding shall keep thee. I think, let me just go get that real quick. It's just the spirit. I'm just flowing through the spirit. But we are going to finish that Esdras. Bear with me. We haven't been given this wisdom, knowledge, understanding to not actually use it. You know, we got to use it. You know? Bear with me. God damn. Might be Proverbs, the 2nd chapter. It's not coming up. Let me see here. I think it's the 2nd chapter here. Khan. Yeah, with the book of Proverbs, chapter 2. Right? And verse 10. I'll start at verse 10. Woo! And I'm going to read down to verse 12. This is cold. Right? And it reads, when wisdom entereth into thine heart, right? Your mind, your lab, right? And knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee. You see that? Understanding shall keep thee. Now, real quick, I want to get this word, discretion. Discretion refers to the ability to judge and act with prudence, with wisdom, often involving the power to make decisions or choices, right? So in some cases, hey, it may not be wise to say a certain thing or make a certain comment or even entertain an individual based off their foolishness. You know, that's wisdom right there, man. Right? Let me see something here. Ooh, it can also mean the quality of being discreet, especially regarding one's own actions or speech. You see? And when you get that word, that's heavy. Hold on. Let's go back. I got to get that word. Now, when you get that word, because this is going to make it all make sense. When you get that word discreet, which we know what it means, but watch this. That's heavy. Woo! Discreet, right? Careful and circumspect in one's speech or actions, especially in order to avoid causing offense or to gain an advantage, man. So sometimes it's better hey, don't say nothing, man. Let niggas say what they gotta say. Let niggas cut you off in traffic, beep at you, give you the bird, you know? Let them have it. Let them have it, okay? Let them have it. You know, because again, going back to Proverbs, this is why. I didn't read down, but this is why. This is why. Watch this. I'm going to actually start at verse 10 again. Proverbs 2 and 10, and it reads, I'm going to read straight through, right? When wisdom entereth into thine heart, your mind, your lab, right? And knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, right? Discretion shall preserve thee, right? Understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man. Come on now. From the man that speaketh froward things, bro. So it's through this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. That's how we're going to be preserved from this dude. Okay? This nigga, hey. The Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, because we have examples. We have examples of 2/3 niggas. Look at 2/3 niggas, man. Look how they're being disintegrated out here in Babylon, bro. Falling into the snares of the fowler. You know? Here it is, they get pulled over by a cop. They refuse to show ID. They give them a hard time. They won't roll the window down. You know? Here it is. You could have just complied and you could have got the ticket and been riding on out of there. But no, because you seen some shit on YouTube in the form of audits. Now you want to be that guy. You want to go viral. Okay? Now you dead in the driver's seat. Okay? Now you dead in the driver's seat now. See? Anyways, let's go back to 2nd Esdras. Man, the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for the wisdom, bro. It's going to preserve us. That's why scripture says, walk with wisdom with those that are without. You see? These people have no wisdom, no understanding, bro. Yeah, demons are captivating these people, man. They're possessed. You know? Hey, suffer wrongfully, man. Suffer wrongfully. That's it. You know? But going back to 2nd Ezra chapter 6, I want to finish this out. But to suffer wrongfully, you got to be humble. It takes a spirit of humility, meekness to really suffer wrongfully, man. To let individuals say something or do something to you and leave it in the hands of the Lord. Now, don't get it twisted. We're not no pushovers. Scriptures say, if possibly, live peaceably with all men, right? But don't twist that up. You ain't gonna come mashing brothers in the face or grabbing up umbrella. Now you're gonna end up getting earthed, doing something like that. You can't overstep. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget, man. The Lord raised up the mighty men of David are present. Lord willing, we one of them. But the mighty men. Hey, listen, man. And the mighty men of David, man, they were no joke. These men were no joke, man. Man, tap into that history and read it with context, man. Meditate when you're reading on it, man. Put yourself there. These men were no joke, bro. And they're here, prophesying. We don't know who these men are. But one thing's for certain, the Lord's dealing. I'm going to continue on. I'm going to digress, right? The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Where did I leave off here? I'm going to start at verse 57 again, right? And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, right, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, right, Israel, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, we broke that down already, thy only begotten and thy fervent lover, right, he's married unto us, man, Jeremiah 3, are given into their hands because we went off. Because we went off, this is why. Right? Look, if the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure, man? And we're in the same spirit. We're inquiring. We're asking the Lord, how long, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man? How long are we going to have to suffer under the feet of these heathen, man? How long? And pursuing the biblical prophecy, being that we've been given a gift to measure the times diligently, we know it's not that much more time. And that's the point I wanted to make. It's not that much more time, Akiyam and Akwaf. We're almost out of here. It's almost over. We are so close. It's unbelievable how close we are to salvation. And it's a blessing to be part of the awakening. Because we could still be in the world celebrating Christmas, smelling like a Christmas tree, celebrating our birthday, looking crazy, exercising idolatry and eating pork and still unhealthy and just through. But no, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai called us out of the madness, all right, and allowed us to dwell in the inner courts, bro. This is a blessing beyond one can imagine. I was talking to my brother earlier this morning, my brother Araya. You brothers and sisters see me on the front line with him. My Ephraim, my brother, right? That's big bro right there. We were chopping it up, and we mentioned that we were like, man, we were better off hitting. We could have hit the lottery before this. The lottery could have got hit before coming into this. This is like the brother mentioned, like out of all the Israelites in the world, out of all the Israelites in the world, we've been called out of the darkness, bro. And we all have our own story. Each and every one of you, beloved Akiyam and Akwal, have your own story, of what you were caught up in Babylon or wherever you may be scattered. And here it is, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has allowed you to receive this engrafted word that's ultimately going to be able to save your soul, man. You're blessed. We're blessed, Akiyam and Akwal. Lord willing, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai keeps us. Because as we know, many are called, but few are chosen. We got to hope and pray that we're part of that chosen. Keep putting on there for as the elect. And that's all I got, Akiyam and Akwal. I got to go to camp. Shortly. I got to get ready. I don't want to be late for the brothers, so I got to get myself together. But needless to say, hey, Lord willing, you Akiyam and Akwal will edify. Hey, stay prayed up. Fast as well as pray. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is on his way, man. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Lord willing, you beloved Akiyam and Akwaf were edified. Shalom.